Every time you create a piece of work in the public realm, it really becomes more about the process of connecting with people than it does maybe about the finished piece.
The City of Nelson had a strategy, a downtown urban design strategy, and within that strategy they had a Lanes Alive program, and within that Lanes Alive program they had murals for alley beautification and things like that. And so we noticed that there was an opportunity for a partnership. We noticed that there was a small amount of budget that was going to be allocated to that through the city, and we thought that that'd be a great opportunity for us to partner with the City of Nelson and start to bring public art to Nelson. Nelson has a beautiful heritage downtown, so you can walk down the downtown core and you see beautiful buildings that have been restored from the turn of the century, things like that. But the laneways were definitely leaving a little something to be desired. So you would go into those laneways and they were very gray and drab. There wasn't any pedestrian traffic happening. There's a few businesses, but there wasn't a lot, and so there's just so much potential in those spaces. And so the Arts Council is really excited about seeing these beautiful heritage downtown streets and then going into the back alleys and having them be amazing outdoor art galleries that anyone can access, that everyone has the opportunity to check out.
There are so many artists that live here, and the look of this town doesn't reflect it. And I think that's important to showcase it. It's an asset that the Kootenays has that a lot of other mountain towns in BC don't necessarily.
The fact that they're allowing us to paint on some of these landmarks, I think increases the value of it as well. They're already incredibly valuable buildings, they're heritage buildings. But it also brings a point of interest to the backs of the buildings, which people don't often see. So now it's beautifying the backs. So it makes every part and every facet of the building beautiful.
The Mural Festival had 8 murals that were created. The Arts Council privately commissioned an additional 2 murals. And then we had 2 businesses / building owners come to the table, and they created pieces. So it was amazing to see how the seeds can be sown and how it can spread and sprout. It was really, really encouraging. It was very important to the Arts Council that the artists had full artistic freedom to create what they wanted to create. It's so important for artists, and we feel that the best work happens when they don't have to take direction. And so we really communicated that with the building owners as well as the artists, that we wanted them to be able to take that. And the artists created amazing things. We have historical pieces, we have a climate change piece. It's really amazing when you think that it's just art to realize that there's so many layers, politically, things that charge them, things that inspire them, that go into making the art that you could, as a normal person, just look and be like, oh, that's a bear and an ice cube. But then you get to think about it and you're like, oh, that's a bear and an ice cube.
This piece is called Preservation, and it's under the context of endangered species and melting glacial ice, and I like to let the viewers kind of interpret it on their own a little bit, but that's the context. The design for this one was interesting because it gave me free rein. Usually there's a topic, and so I really wanted to do something a bit more meaningful with this piece and current. So the news about the declining caribou numbers in our area came out right then, and that kind of gave me a direction there. And I've also been wanting to, I have many ideas on some pieces that I want to do about the melting glaciers, just kind of document the times and affect some positive conversations on these topics.
This piece is actually based on another painting I did, which is called Rare Bird, and it's a raven singing its own true song. I kind of carry this with me, that if you sing your heart's true song, you'll always attract birds of a feather. So like-minded people will come to you if you sing your heart's song and if you're true to yourself. And so that's the feeling I had when I first created the rare bird piece, which is just a little oval painting about this big. And I just always wanted to paint him huge. So I actually combined two of the ideas. So the circular rainbow, the singing raven, and it just worked. The rainbow for me, it includes everyone. It includes everyone. So a circular rainbow to me includes everyone. And singing one's heart song and community. So like ravens and crows are really about community. They're very community-minded birds. They're very family-minded birds. And for me, Nelson is a community and a family that includes everybody.
I was hired on the basis of the fact that I've done a lot of historical mural or historical photograph reproductions as murals, and so the business owners were looking for that sort of style, as it were. And so then I often research the area and find what I think are relevant historical photographs that make interesting murals, and then go from there. This is a photo of the first 3 automobiles in Nelson in 1912.
I like to deal with tougher subjects in terms of wildlife and landscape, but I like the door that you walk through with them to be beauty and approachability, and then you can kind of settle into the tougher topics. Like this mural is about the caribou and the wolf cull that's been happening in the Selkirks over the last few years, and the dialogue that's happening between it, and there's a lot of interesting viewpoints on it, and it's a tricky topic, and I think it needs to continue to be talked about. So
It's just meant to be super playful. It was really nice for the application process. Once you're accepted, you created a sketch, and they were super open. They just were really supportive. We love what you do, we love your previous work, just have fun with it. And then they sent you a photo of the wall first, and this is the largest wall I've ever taken on by myself. So I just really saw it as an opportunity to just have fun, be really playful, do something that was challenging for me. They kind of categorized my work in surrealism, so I don't know, I like that art can sort of conjure things that don't exist. So I think that I'm just trying to do that in my work.
I think quite an important aspect of the piece revolves around the nature of British Columbia. I don't particularly have a name. Everyone seems to come up with their own name when they're walking past, and I'm quite interested to hear all of those. So it really starts off with a kind of like a dark night with the pine forest, and obviously what you see around British Columbia quite often, into like a very nice sunset kind of piece with the native Arctic wolf, which is a British Columbian native animal, into a portrait, followed by the dogwood flower, dogwood tree, which is native British Columbian as well. Then you follow into a spirit bear, also known as a commode bear, and that is a native as well. Into a British Columbian kind of mountainous sunset scene. So everything is based around the area and everything that you find native flora and fauna, and also kind of people that represent the space and the community.
The thing I like about murals the most, in comparison with conventional art forms, is that it's in the public. Everybody has a chance to see it. It's not just hidden away in a gallery.
I think they bring a lot of pride and appreciation for the arts. So people take pride in these possessions as a community, I think.
Mostly people are super stoked that it's happening.
often a common comment that I hear people shout out as they walk by is more murals, more art, please.
It becomes a platform to connect. Like, it's a place to create conversation.
My hope for the piece and also the International Mural Festival, I think is that it will continue on. This piece will stay for 10 plus years, I think, unless they decide to paint over it. But I think it's a good start for the festival being its first year, and I think they've made a great start and done a lot of effort to actually bring it all together, bring so many amazing artists together. And I think it's otherwise livened up a dead space that was not really used, and now you're drawing public through it. It's a thoroughfare now, and then a lot of good things come along with that.
It's important because it's barrier-free, because there are no walls. You don't need to pay any money. Anyone can go into it and see it. Anyone can walk through an alley, whether you're in a wheelchair or, it doesn't matter who you are, what your socioeconomic status is. It doesn't matter. It's for everyone. And it was really important to the Arts Council to create diverse pieces then that spoke to everyone in the community. So we don't just have photorealism pieces or historical pieces that are happening. We have some of each and everything, so that every single person that lives here has an opportunity, and every person that visits has an opportunity to really connect with one piece of art. And that's really what's so important. It's getting it out of the galleries and into the streets and into the hands of the entire community, the entire world.